People are signing it blindly. People are signing it because they don't know any better. In whose interest would it be to have a debate? It's definitely not in the administration's interest to have an airing of both sides in this, because it'll just make it a much longer process. And before they know it, it's the 2007 elections. They're afraid that this will really, the administration will be shut out.
Since the Constitution does not have any detail on just how initiative and referendum is to be carried out, the Constitution says Congress shall pass a law implementing initiative and referendum, mainly the procedure. And in 1997, Defensor Santiago versus Comelec, the Supreme Court said, we don't have a law yet.
Even if you say you don't think there's an enabling law, no matter how you argue it, if the Supreme Court said, well, we've just decided that it's okay.
If this thing is supported by the military, supported by everybody, you don't have a constitutional change, but you have a revolution.
And if it's a revolution, they can basically do anything they want.
Correct. If they succeed.
The bottom line is they no longer want to discuss legitimacy issues. They no longer want to discuss Garciliano. They no longer want to talk about electoral fraud. All they want to do is say, the Senate is no good, they're too noisy, let's scrap them, and let's just have a unicameral chamber. There will no longer be a direct election for president or prime minister or the leader of the land. Definitely, it is to set aside the truth.
The mode of charter change is the exclusive prerogative of Congress, but a constituent assembly may well give our people the quickest reform.
Then the other avenue is to get 3/4 of Congress to agree to a constituent assembly and amend the Constitution.
All this is again of this Congress in joint session assembled by a vote of 3/4 of all its members, voting separately, may propose amendments to the Constitution.
Is there wiggle room legally for you to interpret it as 3/4 jointly?
The text of the Constitution itself sometimes specifies joint voting, and most of the time specifies separate voting, and at other times it doesn't specify.
Yeah.
Both structurally and historically, we can say the history of the Philippines under a bicameral system is that they vote separately. And structurally, the Congress is so made that they vote separately.
Nasa bakuran na ng simbahan ng Malate.
Terrorismo ng Estado! Sabay lang kayo sa akin sa prayer. Pangalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo. Ama namin, sumasalangit ka.
Kunyo ba gusto ng gamot? Sa hospital nga. Hospital kami. Sige na. Sa simbahan.
Muli, pinatunayan na gaya ng ginawang pamamaslang kay Father William Cadena, kahit mga pare ay hindi sinasanto sa loob o labas man ng simbahan.
Kung inakala ng Estado na isusuko ng taong bayan na kanilang karapatang magtipon at magpahayag, at kakamali ito. Tuloy lakad ang libo-libong pares ng pagod na binti. Sumigaw pa rin ang mga inuhaw ng tanghaling araw.
Ilisan po tayo, pero masama ang loob natin.
Gutom at ligalig na mamamayan ay tinugunan ni Marcos ng panunumpi.
My countrymen,
as of the 21st of this month, I signed Proclamation number 1081, placing the entire Philippines under martial law.
Nagdeklara ako ng state of emergency dahil sa maliwanag at kasalukuyang banta sa Republika.
14 na taong nakapanatili sa poder si Marcos sa tulong ng mga instrumento ng panunukil, mga batas, pulis at militar.
General Order Number 5 to implement Proclamation 1017. It directs the Armed Forces of the Philippines in the face of the national emergency to maintain public peace, order, and safety and to prevent and suppress lawless violence.
Tanong ng bayan, sino ang pasimuno ng lawless violence? Sino ba ang marahas? At sino ang mga biktima?
If groups call for people to go to EDSA or they ask that the President step down, will they be arrested under a state of emergency?
If I am to be given the free hand, I will arrest them for inciting to sedition.
There is absolutely no reason at all to worry about violations of human rights.
Common sentiments ng mga bata wala na nangyayari. Marami silang grievances. Masama talaga sa nangyayari ngayon. Kita mo, pinapalo yung mga tao, dinidisperse na kung ano-ano. Masakit para sa amin yan.
Maging ang mga taga-media ay hindi pinapayagang magpahayag ng katotohanan.
We were very alarmed just in the 1017, but kung ano yung nangyari afterwards, the raiding, the daily treatment, the casing of abandoned tabloid, the deployment of troops to some of the networks.
We can actually temporarily suspend the operations of a TV or radio station for a period of 30 days.
Yung NTC ba qualified to judge the editorial content of our news and public affairs programs?
Patuloy ang pagbusal at panggigipit sa mga institusyon, dyaryo at istasyon ng telebisyon at radyo.
The respondents have persisted with their direct and thinly veiled threats against the press. Only this time, the attacks are becoming more and more virulent and more odious.
Press freedom! Laban! Bayan! Human rights kami! Human rights kami!
That our gains are not dissipated through corruption. We must improve moral standards. I believe in leadership by example. Good governance, a sound moral foundation, a philosophy of transparency, and an ethic of effective implementation. The Filipino is truly worth living and dying for. Thank you, and may God bless us all.